Welcome to the Vikings Now. I am your host, Patrick Seatman. I got some fun stuff I want to talk to you guys with today. That's why I'm making this at-home video on a Saturday. Tons of great college football on today that I'm sure you guys are all watching. We got to talk about our Vikings a little bit. Because yesterday I made a video talking about Marcus Peters and if the Vikings could trade for him. And then a lot of you guys got in the comments talking, hey, what about Ndamukong Suh? Do you remember when the Vikings were connected to him this offseason? I'll touch on that. Then also, we got some pretty big Bears-Vikings injury news going into the game tomorrow that I want to touch on. But before we get into the Ndamukong Suh and the injury report, we're 2 subs away from 6,000. All credit to you guys. I understand I asked for you guys to go down and hit that subscribe button a lot. You guys hear it all the time, but it really does help. And you guys have been showing out. You know, when my bosses come to me and say, hey, what are your numbers over the past week? And I can say we almost hit 200 subs just this past week. It makes me look good. It makes this Vikings community honestly look good. So I really appreciate you guys helping us get to 6K. It's honestly a surreal feeling. So if you guys haven't, there's 2 of you guys watching. Go make the channel say 6K subs down there. Go hit that big red button. But now, let's talk about Ndamukong Suh coming to the Vikes. Ndamukong Suh, he was connected to the Vikings a lot this offseason. It was kind of the Vikings a lot, and then it was the Raiders a lot. And I really thought the Vikings had a very strong chance to sign either Ndamukong Suh or J.C. Tretter. I thought they would end up with one of those. I was wrong on both. They ended up not getting either of them. But you guys are talking, you know, with how poor this Vikings run defense has been so far this year. Can the Vikings bring in a guy like Ndamukong Suh, kind of beef up this offensive or defensive line and kind of turn this defense around? And maybe, you know, right now I'd say the Vikings have a top 20 defense in the league. Maybe turn this into a top 15, top 10 defense. So let's talk about it. Ndamukong Suh, he's still a free agent. But we got to talk about money first. The Vikings only have $2.26 million left on the cap this year. So obviously Ndamukong Suh, I don't think he would sign for a 1-year, $2 million contract, pretty much a vet min in the NFL. But I could see the Vikings, if they were going to get a guy like Suh, it would probably have to be a 2-year, $15 million deal where they put maybe $5 million into a signing bonus and then they backlog $10 million on next year's books. So they still have the free $2 million this year. That's how it would work. But let's just talk about it on the football field. Let's have fun. I think this would be a great move. I think bringing in Ndamukong Suh, I think this would solve a lot of the problems. Right now, Vikings are struggling with run defense, really struggling. And they're really struggling with getting interior pressure. That's what Ndamukong Suh does. He's that lane clogger. He's that Mr. Block Eater, as we like to call him. And I do think Harrison Phillips and Dalvin Tomlinson have done a great job so far. Even Jonathan Bullock, when he's gotten in there. I think our interior defensive linemen have played pretty good. But if you look at the Rams and you look at the Buccaneers, the last 2 Super Bowl champions, the Rams last year, they always had a great front 7. Leonard Floyd, Aaron Donald. What did they do midseason? They went and traded for Von Miller. Did they need to trade for Von Miller? No. But they wanted to add some more icing to their cake. As I always like to say, you know, you can win in the NFL with, you know, good receivers, good quarterback play, all of that. You can win games. That's the cake. And I think the Vikings have that. But if you want to get to the next level and you want to get to that Super Bowl, you got to have edges. You got to be able to terrorize the other team's quarterbacks. And that's the icing. And I think if the Vikings kind of follow that direction and bringing in a guy like Ndamukong Suh, I think it could really help their Super Bowl chances, obviously. But I think it could really just fix one of the key issues on this team as a whole, and that's stopping the run. And that's honestly bringing some life, bringing some energy to the defensive side of the football, which Ndamukong Suh does. You know, yes, we all know he's kind of a hothead. He's kind of he plays with a lot of energy, plays with a lot of passion. But honestly, I think that's what this team needs right now. And the Vikings, if they would go out and sign Ndamukong Suh and we all got that notification on our phone that day, we would all be thrilled. So I want to ask you guys, this will be the pinned comment on today's video. If the Vikings can, if the cap space works out, we can have the cap geniuses in the NFL figure that out. If the Vikings can, do you want them to go bring in a guy like Ndamukong Suh, even if it's just for this year, even if it's just a 1-year deal? Go type Y for yes and type N for no. Let me know your thoughts, because I think it's something that pretty fun to talk about, pretty fun to discuss, bringing in a big-time player like Ndamukong Suh. Now, let's talk about the injury update. I think we're going to start with the Vikings first. The Vikings, honestly, this year, pretty healthy team overall. Like, really, when I talk about with some of my coworkers, what their teams are dealing with, I mean, it's pretty night and day to our Minnesota Vikes. Right now, the only player ruled out is Ben Ellison, our third-string tight end. Not the biggest deal in the world, but we obviously know Johnny Munt had his drops last week, and Irv Smith had his drops the week before, and Irv's kind of been a little injury-prone in his career, so I think the Vikings, maybe tight end targets, maybe we could sign another tight end. I think that's something we could discuss moving forward, but only having Ben Ellison out, huge win for the Vikings going into Sunday. Also, Andrew Booth Jr., he's off the injury report. No more quad injury for him, so he will be making his... I guess he got reps in week 1, but he'll be making his true debut this Sunday against the Bears, which I can't wait. Now we got 2 pretty big injury updates that I want to touch on for the Bears because I think it directly relates to how I think the Vikings are going to go about this game. So David Montgomery, the running back, questionable. He's missed the last 2 weeks. Honestly, David Montgomery missing. Going into the year, if you would tell me the Bears are going to be without David Montgomery when they play the Vikings, I would be like, oh, that's a pretty big deal. But the Bears have this other running back, Khalil Herbert. He's been fantastic this season. He's been really balling out, so I don't really think that's going to make that big of a difference with the Bears' running game. So the Vikings are still going to need to sell out on the run, make Justin Fields beat you from the pocket. Even without David Montgomery, they're still going to be able to run the ball if you let them. But the biggest injury for the Bears is Jaylon Johnson. Right now, Jaylon Johnson, he's doubtful, so pretty much he's not going to play. And with that being said, here are the Bears' top 3 corners that are going to try to guard Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, and KJ Osborne. Listen to this. It's a 2020 5th-rounder, Kindle Vildor, who he's been great in spots so far. But his PFF grade right now is a 54.2. And then it's their second-round rookie, Kyler Gordon, who has a 41.1 PFF grade. Haven't watched too much of his tape right now, so I guess we'll kind of default our opinion to the nerds at PFF. He's one of the worst graded corners in the league. And then it's undrafted rookie Jaylon Jones, who's actually going to get the CB3 reps for the Bears without Jaylon Johnson on the roster this week at a 55.8 PFF grade. So listen, Vikings, I understand you want to establish the run at home. I understand you probably want to get Dalvin Cook going. I say air this puppy out. I say you blow the Bears out the water. I say you say Jefferson, Thielen, KJ, we're going 21 personnel the whole game. CJ Ham, or at least for the first couple quarters. I want them to use the pass to set up the run. Understand in NFL, you always hear, use the run to set up the play action. I say you take the other approach this week. I say you use the pass to set up the run game. Set up, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, taking 2 shots deep right away at the beginning of the game. Have those safeties for the Bears have to play back because they're going to have to help these corners out. And then once the safeties back up, once the linebackers start backing up, then you can really start hammering home that CJ Ham, that Dalvin Cook package. We can get downfield and really reward this offensive line for playing good and have them dominate in the second half. First half, I want the Vikings to air it out. I want it to be an air raid against the Bears this Sunday. I'd love to know what you guys think. Signed Ndamukong Suh. Got a little injury news for the Vikings. Thank you guys so much. If you guys aren't subscribed yet, what are you doing? Almost at 6K. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let's go Vikes.